session. Today we're going to be talking on something very important, very, very vital, very, very contributing as far as the quality of your life is concerned. Believe me, if you understand what I'm about to say to us and put it into conscious and cautious use, you will be dominant in life. People are literally going to go like, wow, how is he doing it? And if you're up for that, let's do it already. I want you to consciously picture in your mind a picture of anybody you can find to be being relevant through a long period of time. Somebody that you've seen that is consistent in results. The person you might call prolific. The person you might call resourceful. The person you might call result bringing, result labeling. I want you to picture such a person in your mind and ask yourself this very important question. How is he doing it? How is that person doing it? How is he being relevant throughout seasons? How is he maintaining a state of relevance? There are some people that it seems that you can put them in any field of life, in any situation, in any scenario, and then they will just ace it. They will ace it spontaneously. You can't just surprise them. How are there such people? How are they? What makes them? What kind of qualities do they have in them that can help them function in such a high level of resourcefulness, a prolific state of life? How do you define such a person? Now, this is what I want to talk to us about, because it is not magic. It didn't just happen. That's what I want you to erode from your thinking in all totality, holistically. Just erode that from your mind. Eradicate it. It is not magic. It is not because of some special genetic traits. It is not because of some special environmental influence on them. It's not because of some special parental guidance or some special relationship privileges. It is not. It is simply their mindset. Simply their mindset. Now, having that in mind, today's topic of discourse that I want to elaborate on is what I term the law of seasons. The law of seasons. Nobody on the surface of the planet has a straightforward seasons. Nobody in the surface of the planet has a slide, like what you just say a picture to be always having a good outcome. Nobody has that. Everybody on the surface of the planet has bad days. Everybody on the surface of the planet has good days. Now, what makes it seem as if some people are always enjoying good days? What do they do in the period of good days that make sure that even if they get into bad days, it is not noticed? I'm going to keep you on suspense on that. I'll answer that later on. But then, firstly and very importantly, I'd like to bring you into the consciousness that no season lasts forever. No season lasts forever. You are a student right now. One day you are going to be required to be a teacher. Yes. You are still saying, Mom, thank you, Dad, thank you. One day, a boy, a girl, a little baby somehow, sometime is going to need to fill your space. You can't be in that position forever. That's what you should know. You have a lot of money right now. You have a lot of friends right now. What you should understand is that it's not going to be like that forever. You can be experiencing an uptime. It's, oh, hallelujah, things are going on well for me. Oh, wonderful. Everything I lay my hands to do right now turns to gold. You should be conscious of the fact that it's not going to last forever. Now, you've seen people in my little experience and with my little research, I've seen people who were sometime at the zenith of their careers, at the zenith of their relevance, and then all of a sudden they crash down to nothing. There were some people that a point in time, if you mention their name, literally people will stay awake just to see them, to relate with them, to observe them. And then sometime later, even as little as a period of 1 year, they are seemingly almost forgotten. At a point, they are all relevant. And then because they didn't understand at the zenith of their relevance that nothing lasts forever, they didn't prepare for the down times. And then when the down times finally came, they ran out of relevance. Nobody is singing their praises anymore. You see this in athletes, you see this in footballers, you see this in so many walks of life, in career people. In fact, Your Excellency, sir, yes, Your Excellency, Mr. President, a time is going to come where you are not going to be regarded in that high esteem. People saying yes sir to you right now, people nodding, whatever you say, they say yes. Whatever you order them to do, they just go into action without any form of remorse, without reluctance. It's not going to be like that forever. That's what you should understand in your life. You don't have to be Your Excellency to get what I'm trying to say right now. The fact that you are enjoying some level of privileges right now, it's not going to be like that forever. You are a student right now, your parents are sponsoring you in school, they are giving you pocket money, they make sure you don't like anything. It's not going to be like that forever, because oscillating seasons are part of the seasons in life. Oscillating simply means a swing. It's never going to be stagnant, it's not going to be straightforward, no season is going to be constant. That's what you should understand. So you should make sure that whenever you see yourself in a state of convenience, be prepared for the inconvenience. And then there is something I'm going to let you into the knowledge of later on, that if you utilize, maximize, ultimately in your purposes, in your careers, in whatever you're doing and engaging yourself into, one thing that I can assure you with a surety is that you will be relevant throughout seasons. That is to say that people will find it difficult to even know what seasons you are in, either the down seasons or the up seasons. If you can utilize and maximize the precepts, the body of knowledge, really, it's really going to be a show. Your path is always going to be brighter and brighter. There is a lopsided knowledge that people have, that they think they can maintain relevance forever. It doesn't work that way. It's never going to work that way. You can't maintain relevance forever. But then you can make sure to use what I'm about to tell you to make it seem as if your relevance is in place for a very long period of time. Mr. Superstar, Mr. Stage Master, Mr. Good Student, Mr. Rich Man. You should understand something very important, that somebody left the stage for you to climb on it. There is room for multi performers on the stage. But then one thing you should understand is that in the stage of life, it doesn't work that way. That's a theater stage. In the stage of life, somebody has to leave for someone else to take the place on the stage. You occupying the stage right now, you should know that it's not going to be like that forever. It's not going to be like that forever. Now I'm talking to you from a heart of experience, research, because it's dangerous not to know what I'm about to say right now. Because you're going to go through life just drifting, being a loafer. Let's get this very importantly. Whenever you see yourself in a state of relevance, brother, sister, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to understand something very important. It is not going to be you forever. It is not going to be you forever. And this is a source of hope also, because whenever you see yourself that you are having a downtime, know that it can't last forever. Now, the fallacy and the deception that comes with downtimes and what people resort to with such deception and fallacious states is that they resolve to taking permanent decisions for temporal problems. That is the most contributing factor to the rate of suicide in the world right now. People tend to take permanent decisions for temporal problems. But it's not supposed to be so. It is life. It is just called life. That is what it is. It is called life. And what you should understand that in life, times change. The earth has been around for about 4 billion years old. And human consciousness, as far as we can trace, has been around for about 10,000 years old. And then the only two factors that have been proven to be constant across all those time, from the time the earth has been in existence, from the time that human consciousness can be traced back to, there are only two factors. And those factors are time and change. Period. That's it. Time and change. Whatever you see around you is just as a result of those two constant factors, time and change. Everything is subject to time. Everything within time is subject to change. So you should understand that whatever situation you find in yourself in right now is not going to last forever. No, even if it's a curse, it doesn't last forever. It won't. So you should understand that and make sure that you prepare for the bad and the good stages. You prepare for the bad and the good stages. It's life. You don't whine when you see things going bad. You don't over celebrate when you see things going on good. You just know that this is not going to last forever. Your investments are not going to pay up for good forever. You're not going to be a student forever. You're not going to have the privilege of having someone take care of you forever. It's not going to work. Sometimes, somewhere, somehow, somebody will be requiring, having obligatory instinctions on you to take care of him or her. It's going to be your turn. The torch is going to pass to you. It is a relay race. It is not a sprint race. It is a relay. Somebody was passed on the torch to, and then you should expect that torch. And then what's going to happen when that torch is on you in terms of responsibility? Are you going to fall short of your function, or are you going to perform maximally? That is something you should put into mind. It's very important. Now, what is that thing that can make you seemingly be relevant across seasons, across times? What is that thing that is going to make it seem to every other person that is looking at you to look at see if this person is never having a downtime? What is that thing? It is the principle of investment. And when I'm talking about investment, I'm not talking about monetary investment. Is very powerful, very important, but that's not what I'm really concentrating on. I'm talking of time investment. Time investment. What do you invest your time in a certain stage in your life that makes sure that the next stage does not feel a hole, a lopsidedness? Mr. Rich Man, how are you investing your time in building up other people that make sure that in the state of your downtime, you are not lonely? What you should understand, I just see some old people, and then in their old stages, in their old states, people in their 60s, 70s. You see these people, it seems as if there is nobody to take care of them. Now the question is, what were they doing in their 50s, in their 40s, their 30s and 20s? What were they doing with the time they were having? Now, the answer to that is that many of them failed to build on relationships. So at the age of 60, you see that these people have nobody. They are just wrinkling in age, and then there is nobody that can intermittently put a reasonable degree of attachment to their own personal success and attach it to them as individuals. Nobody can say, I am what I am today because of this man, and because of what he or she did for me before now, I will not allow him or her to be lonely at this stage of his or her life. You see parents at age 70, their children are running away from them. They have no sense of obligation to taking care of them, because while they were children, these parents didn't pay consciousness to investing into them. Some parents don't even take it serious to making sure that their children enjoy a good education. Some parents don't even take it serious to even see that their children feed well. Life is of seasons. Life is of seasons. You need to maximize the seasons you are in, preparing for the other seasons. Whenever you see a rainy season in your life, it comes with a letter from the dry season. Whenever you see a dry season in your life, it comes with a letter from the rainy season. Now, what you should be conscious of is that you shouldn't take a permanent decision on the letter that you've received from either seasons for a temporal season. That is to say, you shouldn't take a permanent decision for a temporal situation, a temporal problem, a temporal blessing, a temporal boon, or a temporal bane. You shouldn't take a permanent decision for it. Be prepared. It's called life. Now, people, when down seasons come for them, all they do is whine, all they do is complain, all they are up for is looking for who to blame, who to censure on. But it's not going to work that way. Because you can waste your time complaining, waste your time. If you're looking for somebody to blame, you're always going to find them, because there are about 8 billion people in the world. And you can, as far as that figure is concerned, you can at least look for someone to put a blame on. But then here's my point. That blame, that excuse you are using and making, for which you justify your failure to, somebody else somewhere somehow has experienced such scenario of playouts of events, and then he or she used it as a leverage to becoming successful. So whatever situations you are seeing around your life right now, there are only going to be two things: excuses or reasons. Excuses or reasons. 10 years from now, you're going to be 10 years older. Your situations right now are going to be a defining factor. But then what would they define 10 years from now? Are they going to define that you use them as reasons to become successful 10 years from now? Or they're going to define your failure because you use them as excuses to become a failure, a mediocre, a carnal, a mongrel 10 years from now? Now the choice is yours. The choice is yours. Students, you have a season to study. A time is going to come where you'll be required to make election, to make justification for the time you've spent in the institution of learning, and you need to defend that in the world. Abraham Lincoln said something very instructive. He said, whatever you are, be a good one. And the only way you can be good at whatever you do is if you maximize your seasons of learning. Somebody else said something very instructive. He said you can only be a good leader if you were a good follower. You can only be a good teacher if you were a good student. So right now you are a student. What are you using your time to do? Remember what I said earlier. The only two factors that are constant in life are time and change. And change is subject to time. Change is subject to time. That is to say, the extent to which you utilize your time maximally for course, a particular focus in course, is the extent to which you are going to enjoy all the ambience that come with the utilization of that time. And the extent to which you waste your time drifting in life is the extent to which you are going to stay in mediocrity and be interviewed as a failure. Do you know that even failures get interviewed? Yes. So who do you want to be? A successful interviewee or a failure interviewee? The choice is yours. Seasons are going to change. Seasons are going to change. Now you have it as an obligation to maximize the current seasons that you are in right now. You know, if I'm going to relate this is off the script. Basically, I'm taking you off the script right now. But then if I'm going to, I guess I realize that the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now is because I am conscious of the fact that I'm not always going to be able to do it. If I'm going to ask you this question, where do you think the richest place on the planet is? Many of us will say America, the land of opportunities. Many others will say it is the gold mines in sub-Saharan Africa, or the oil wells in sub-Saharan Africa, and the diamond mines. But those are not even close to being the richest places on the planet Earth right now. I bet to tell you that in your immediate environment, there is one of such places that you could call the richest place on the planet. Just to take away the suspense, the richest place on the planet right now is the cemetery. Guess why? Because that's where dreams died that were not fulfilled. That's where visions died that were not realized. That's where books died that were not written. That's where music died that were not sung. That's where stage plays, books, movies died that were not brought into realizations. Imagine if Steve Jobs died with what he had in him. Imagine if these great authors that we celebrate today died not taking the step, not maximizing the seasons of youthfulness, the seasons of energy. Imagine if they didn't maximize that. To bet what they've given us in the world today that we can proudly celebrate and identify with them and say, oh, how wonderful it is that such a person at this time came across the surface of the earth. Now my question to you is, are you going to contribute to the wealth of the cemetery, or are you going to rob the cemetery of your wealth? I repeat, are you going to contribute to the wealth of the cemetery, or are you going to rob the cemetery of the wealth you have in you? The touch is yours. The touch is yours. You, young man, you have a season right now of energy. You have a season that you are free to do many things. I wouldn't want to say most things, right? But then you have a season that you can do many things. Now let me share this story to us. The story of two young men. At age 40, of course, two young men, they became age 40. When they were better, their father was a drunkard, a serious drunkard. And at age 40, they both had different lifestyles, different life patterns, different results. And then they were both interviewed. Brother A, Mr. Successful, why are you successful? Why are you a political figure that is being celebrated around the world? Why are you now a philanthropist that has more than enough to even give to others? Brother B, why are you a failure? Why did you resolve to mediocrity, less than mediocrity? Why did you resolve to commonality? Why did you resolve to being a canal in the society? Why did you resolve to penury? Why did you resolve to that? Lack, insufficiency. Guess what brother A replied? Mr. Successful, because of my father. Your father, the drunkard? He said, yes. Okay, how is that? How can a drunkard be the reason for which you are a public figure today, being celebrated for your positive impact? Brother B, why are you a failure? Why is there no results for your life? At age 40, you have nothing to show for it. At age 40, your life is a padlock. In fact, the mention of your name, it is. Can you imagine how painful it is for you to be out of relevance during your lifetime? Can you imagine how painful it is for you to still be alive? And then people will say, if you want to go far, don't take this reference. Don't be like this person. That was what Brother B was. He was a literal failure. Why were you a failure? Because of my dad. Yes, because of my dad. He was a failure. He didn't sponsor me in my educational pursuit. Not that I even wanted to be educated, but then were it to be that he pushed me to get an education, I think I would have been doing better right now. But because he didn't do it, that's why I'm failing. And of course, I can blame that on him. And of course, that justifies it. Can you just picture how stupid that sounds already to you? To me, honestly, it sounds stupid. But that was his excuse. Same play out of events, same person, same factor, different turnouts. The same person that made somebody that supposedly gave somebody an excuse to be remaining a failure was the same person, same lifestyle. Not as if he had a bias for love towards one or the other. Not that he had prejudice for Brother B, a failure. Not that he had infatuation in terms of psychological play out towards Brother A, the successful one. Same person, same him. But then guess what Brother A said? Mr. Successful, I won't be like that. So one said, I'm going to be like that because that is how it is. That is how he who gave birth to me is. The other said, I won't be like that because it is an impediment on life. He went on to be successful. Now, who will you be 10 years from now? Are you going to be that person that will give excuses? You're looking for excuses, you're always going to find 1,001. Yes, the government, your parents, whoa. The society, whoa. The environment, yeah. Your educational background, okay, that one is a big one. I don't have a college training. I didn't even go to high school. Come on. It is always going to be like that. But guess what? The most successful people that history has recorded so far, at average, the most successful number of them are those who never even attained a college education. Many didn't even have a high school education. They dropped out of high school. But then they went on to live successful lives because they understood that they were never going to be young forever. They understood that seasons are going to change. They understood that the ideas that they are having right now aren't going to be with them forever. So they maximize those seasons, utilize them, and today we're celebrating them. At the end of your life, your name is either going to be a key or a padlock. At the end of your life, your name is either going to be a testimony or a warning. So somebody is either going to testify and say, oh my God, I love this guy. They're literally going to, why do people name their children after some people? I heard somebody's name recently and her name was Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, like the whole name, Queen Elizabeth, not Queen, not Elizabeth, but Queen Elizabeth. That's because of the respect they have for the figure who embodied that name. Now, there are many names. Why don't we call people Judas? Talking of biblical reference right now. Many people, in fact, I don't think I've come across somebody by the name Judas. Now that's how powerful names are. That's how powerful what decisions you make with your time on earth are. At the end of your life, your name is either going to be a key or a padlock. At the end of your life, your name is either going to be a testimony or a warning. So somebody can either look at you and say, oh, I want my child to be like this. Or somebody can look at you and say, no, don't try it. What you do with the seasons in your life, your youthful seasons, you're not always going to be young. You're not always going to be energetic. You're not always going to be vital. You're not always going to be vigorous. You're not always going to be having the time to learn. Leadership might call upon you at any time. Sometime soon, you are going to have to show proof of your election. So invest in the coming seasons. Invest. You're making money right now, wonderful. You're rich right now, beautiful. You have a wonderful family, awesome. Invest in relationships. Invest financially. Invest in your future. If you eat all you make today, you're going to be hungry tomorrow. If you eat all the food you can see and have right now, tomorrow you're going to be hungry. So make sure you plan for tomorrow. Make sure you invest for tomorrow. The only assurance you have for tomorrow is the assurance you make for tomorrow. I repeat, the only assurance you have for tomorrow is the assurance you make for tomorrow. You cannot feature in a future you didn't picture. And you cannot feature in a future you haven't captured. Captured in preparation. So what's it going to be for you? Are you going to waste your youth? Now, forgive my bias, but my message is really centered on the youth. The youth. Africa. Do you want to end up like your parents? Do you want to end up like your dad? Now, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, same way all over and expecting a different result. Your parents did what they could, they failed. And then you want to follow their pattern and you expect to be successful. Oh, come on. Life is not luck. That's one thing you should know. There are principles, there are laws, there are precepts that bet results. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So that's what you should know. If you don't like what you have right now, what you do is change what you're doing. If you don't like what you are right now, what you do is change what you're doing. This is the question you should ask yourself. Would the successful version of me be doing what I'm doing right now? Would the successful version of me be wasting his time not reading? Would the successful version of me be wasting his time not preparing? The stage is set. You are going to go to the stage. It's going to get to a state where you can either give excuses or reasons or principles or rules or precepts. It's going to get to that time. The stage has been set, and either you like it or not, the one thing we're sure of is that 10 years from now, you're going to be 10 years older. At 10 years older from your current age, are you going to give reasons or excuses? Now, the way you maximize and utilize the seasons of your life right now is what's going to determine what's going to be. So, young man, please, I'm young. Why I'm doing this right now is not because oh my God, are you kidding me? You think all the things, all the situations are right? No, they're not. Do I have all I want? No. Am I where I want to be? No. But guess what? I know that if I don't, the thing is, there is a fallacy that people have, that they think everything can can just fall in place before they take action. Nope. It's never going to be. You need to get used to that fact. It's never going to be. Everything is never going to be right. Every situation is not. You are not going to have all the resources. You are not going to have all the support. You have this idea you want to pursue. Some will get it, some would. So what? Act on it. Act on it. The main factor is you. That's what I'm acting on right now. The main factor is me. So don't let seasons catch up on you. Don't fight. If you catch I won't want you to catch yourself old and have no result. It is the most impediment on human psychology and human being. It is an insolence on your person. Don't catch yourself like that. Don't catch yourself regretting why you didn't take actions on your dreams. Don't catch yourself regretting why you didn't act on your purpose. Don't, please. So my advice to you as a young man, forgive my bias once again. Now, young does not mean that your age has nothing to do with, okay, fine. To be fair, it does. But then it depends on how the context from which you are looking at it. They say many people die at age 25 but don't get buried until they are age 70. Do you know what that means? Many people die. They stop living at age 25, but then they are not buried till they are 70. Many people stop taking chances on their dreams. Many people stop acting on their ideas. Many people stop pursuing their purposes at age 25. They give up. They think they have experimented on everything they know and it failed. So they give up. And then what we know is that when you stop acting, you start dying. When you stop acting, you start dying. So you need to make up your mind and say, fine, so what? I communicate my dreams to this person, he gets it. Some would, some won't. So what? Do it. That's the mentality you should possess. Because guess what? If you eventually succeed at your dream, guess where those who cynically criticize you initially are going to be? Yes, you guessed right. They're going to be the real-time failures. So young man, act on your dream. Take a step. Africa is waiting for you. Africa is waiting for you. I am waiting for you. I'm waiting to pay you for something. What can I pay you for? What can I appreciate you for? Now, your reward in life is going to be in direct proportion to your service. That is to say, I'm going to reward you to the degree to which you serve me. And you're only going to serve me to the degree to which you act on your dream. Act on your ideas. That's what you should know. You're never going to have all it takes. Let me give us, imagine you are in a dark room, a dark hall, let's say a cave, and you are with a little torch. It is stupid of you to think that in that cave where there is no light except the torch in your hand, you can see to the end of the cave with your little torch. It's not going to, picture what I'm trying to say here. It's not going to work that way. You can't see the end of the cave with your little torch. But guess what happens? When you move with your torch, that's where the darkness begins to disappear. If you stay at one stage and whine and say, oh, how I wish I can see what is on the other end of this cave. How I wish I can see what is waiting for me out there. How I wish I can see how people will react when I eventually get there. You might never take the step. But guess what happens? When you make up your mind to take the step with the torch in your hand, the way begins to get bright. You begin to move. You begin to see, oh, it's not so bad. I can actually do this. It's not that hard. But you need to take the first step. Nothing is always going to be at your disposal. Nothing. Whatever you think you have right now, you're going to not have it sometime in the future. So it's best you utilize it right now. When you buy a product, there is something written on it. It is clear. You see, it is a product, you can use it instantly, but then they write something on or prescribed on it, best before. That is to say, if you want to make full proof of the utility of this product, you need to use it before this time. Now, many of us don't check on the expiry date in our mind, the best before date of our brains. It's not always going to be that way. You're not always going to have the chance you have right now. You're not always going to have the chance to read as a young man. Readers are leaders. Readers are leaders. At the stage of leadership, you are not expected to come and tell people, oh, I'm still reading. What you are supposed to be doing that time is being resourceful, prolific. All right? So make up your mind today to maximize the seasons of your life. As a young man, maximize the seasons of your life right now. I'm challenging you in love. I'm not trying to make an invidious comparison between the haves and the have-nots. I'm not trying to censure or blame, criticize, or abase anybody. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to challenge you in love to push towards the maximization of your potentials. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm vexed right now. And please take caution, take mind of what I'm saying, because that is going to maintain your relevance across time. Now I'm going to end my section today with this question. At the end of your life, be it 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 50, 100, is your name going to be a key or a padlock to someone else's destiny? At the end of your life, is your history going to be a testimony, or is your history going to be filled with regret, a warning? Is your history going to be a testimony, or is your history going to be a warning? The decision is yours. And the way you maximize your times and your seasons is what determines the outcome. Can a generation look backwards and say, I am better off because of this person? Thank you especially for joining us on today's pathfinding session, and we hope to see you on the next session, because we promise it's going to be illuminating, life-changing, life-impacting, life-transforming. And I'd like you to like, subscribe, share on this. If you have something resonating in your mind, you can comment below so others can partake from your experience.